owe it to your mystery? Is it because of a history? Are you into me when it feels so good?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, John, press the damn play button.
All right.
We're back. John, there's a draft screen for this replay.
Yeah, I love it, Mike. It's a Battle Cup game from Southeast Asia, Tier 5, Mike. And I have to say, I don't need to brag. As the captain of a Tier 5 winning team, I feel like I'm going to have fun here.
You're the captain of a Tier 5 winning team in C.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have had some pretty fantastic players.
Oh, no. It's all in my draft, Mike. See, what I did was I took a certain player, I gave him one hero throughout 3 games, and he kept crying to me. But it worked for the better, and this should be fun. I love seeing the draft screen. It's been a while since we've been casting AP and SD games, and having a draft come up is really nice. Although, in a Battle Cup game, it's almost like open qualifiers. You usually just ban out what's meta or what you don't want to play against for the most part, and you just draft what you feel like you want to run, and then kind of adapt by the second or last phase.
No, absolutely. And I mean, I'm a bit excited. We finally get to see a bit of a draft screen. And for the love of God, at least we can sit here and talk about what the hell is going on in the draft, which is something we haven't done in a long time, John, but let's enjoy it. We are waiting for this last ban out now. And we will see the first pickup coming up. And it's like you said, you just ban what you don't want to play against. It's as simple as that. They will... Oh, my. I mean, John, if there's one hero I don't want to see anymore, it's the Witch Doctor. You made me play it in those damn Battle Cup games. I had enough. And look, is this you drafting for the Dire?
Sadly, no. No, Mike, no. I am not No Balls PW Changer. I'm just John, I do like their names, though. I want to call out the names right here. No Balls PW Changer, it's kind of edgy, but I like this. Bene Masala Dosa. I like that. It makes me hungry. And it's definitely Indian. If not, it's definitely a very Indian name, because Masala Dosa, it's food, and it's a very tasty food.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's Masala Dosa it's an Indian pancake dosa. It's kind of like an Indian tin pancake. And masala is like this mixture, mainly of aloo, of potatoes mixed in with seasoned up, mushed up inside that pancake. It's really delicious, Mike.
Thank you for that, John. I appreciate the you explaining what these Indian cuisines are. I'm sure it adds a lot of value to the cast. And our viewer will surely appreciate that. You never know. Maybe we're casting for someone who's Indian, and he's like, "Wow, I appreciate the cultural diversity John's expressing right now." But let's go into the draft. We do have Warlock and Omni Knight, as well as the Witch Doctor Nature's Prophet. I wouldn't say standard, but the Warlock is a bit weird in the sense that you hardly ever see it these days. Omni Knight has been nerfed as of late, but it still is very, very... it's a valid offlane if you do want to run it. Nature's Prophet, we've seen it too much in the pro scene these days. It's become a very popular either offlane or support. And of course, I have my experiences with Witch Doctor now. Pretty damn good position 5 hero. Overall, John, this opening, who do you think has the better opening of a draft?
I'd say I prefer Team F Dosa. The Indian stack seems to open up a bit nicer. Witch Doctor is a much more stable support compared to Warlock. They have much more control coming out with Witch Doctor Stun, Nature's Prophet Sprout. They have global ganking potential with Nature's Prophet. They're not locked down to cooldowns as well. Warlock is a very cooldown dependent hero. I mean, you're always going to play around the Golem. We talk about that every time we see Warlock come out. The reason why it's fallen out of favor is really because as a support, when you pick the Warlock, you have to wait for that cooldown to go off to really start pushing. And most supports nowadays really, they're supports that don't depend on the cooldowns. Even most offlaners, like the guys with big ults like Tidehunter, Enigma, you don't see them too often because they really play around the tempo, around the timing when their cooldowns are off, and the game's just a bit too fast to really wait around until those cooldowns are up again. So they're not too favored here. I feel the Omni Knight's a safe enough pick, but with the lack of control that this opening has, I'm not too sure how it's going to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I have to agree with you. We always talk about the cooldowns of heroes, and most of the time, the ones that go for those greedy long cooldown kind of heroes don't end up panning out too well. Now, obviously, we don't really take note of what the result of the game is because we want to keep it interesting for ourselves and the viewer. But generally speaking, long cooldowns don't mean a good game for the side that has them. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. Team Korj, they've got a third pickup now. They might switch it up a bit. They're using a lot of their reserve time. While we're sitting here and we were talking about it, with Enigma, wouldn't it be such a decent idea if rather than have whatever Aghanim Scepter he has, which I believe it's the Midnight Pulse and the Black Hole together, wouldn't it be just better to reduce the cooldown like they do with the Void Chrono or something?
It would be great. I just feel like it would definitely be overpowered if it played in any way to his cooldown, mainly because it pierces BKB and does really good damage. I think buffing him by dropping the cooldown will make him a bit too potent, if you will. I do think the Aghanim Scepter pickup on Enigma is pretty decent as it is. Having 2 Midnight Pulses on top of Black Hole is really strong. I think dropping down the cooldown would make him way too strong. Absolutely way too powerful.
No, it's a very fair point. I mean, I guess I just get sad because we never see the damn hero anymore. But, nevertheless, Team Korj, they pick up a Darkseer. So, this appears to not be an offlane Omni Knight. Generally speaking, Darkseer would go to the offlane. So it could be position 4 Omni Knight. You never know. Maybe they'll play a carry Omni Knight. Who the hell knows? And then Team FDOSA actually introduce what they're doing with this whole draft. They bring out the Drow strat. And we know how the Drow strat is. It's pretty ridiculous if you get the good start. There's a Lina, but again, I feel like they're being too greedy against something that's already been revealed. A Drow strat is not going to be easy to go up against with the heroes they have already.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy time for them. It's going to be really hard, especially since there's a Nature's Prophet, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage. Witch Doctor as well, actually. People seem to underestimate the damage Witch Doctor pumps out. It's really high at level 1, his right-click damage. So you're going to have a rough time because it's going to be buffed up by the Drow. And by the time you reach maybe level 4, level 5, it's going to hurt even more. Then you have the NP, who does a decent amount of right-click damage as well, buffed up by the Drow. When it comes down to Drow strats, the main issue is that it generally lacks team fights. But with this kind of opener, with these ranged heroes, I feel like they have a decent enough time in team fights.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have too much of an issue, especially in the early. The one thing is as well, right, you have that timing. So you have that pressure of having to hit the right timing to get the push going and to get the momentum. If you don't get that on a Drow strat, you generally get run over in the late game. We'll find out if that's going to happen to Team FDOSA or they are going to be able to keep that momentum going. They do actually pick up an Underlord, and you know what, John? I don't mind this. There's so much global presence now with the Underlord and the Nature's Prophet. You could just take your whole team across the map to take another tower after you've taken one.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really strong hero in this lineup. And Underlord as an offlaner against potentially these 2 supports we're seeing right now, he's not going to have too hard of a time. He should be able to sustain. They don't have control. That's my issue right now with Team Korj's lineup. There's no hard control. They have Golem, which is on 150-second cooldown, if I'm right. They have Lina's Pillar, right? It's too unreliable. Yeah. Darkseer doesn't really have control. He has repositioning tools, but no hard control, no hard lockdown coming out from Team Korj just yet, which means their core really has to have something that has decent lockdown. I'd say it's really hard to say what they take for the core position here. They ban out the Slark themselves, which I feel like would have a really, really good time against this lineup. I don't think a Sven would be good, mainly because he's going to be kited around by the Drow, the Witch Doctor, the Nature's Prophet, quite a fair bit, but it's one here I can think of that has enough control to really make up for the rest of the team as a core. Otherwise, I don't see anything that's super viable. I mean, the Team Fdosa has the right idea to ban out the Luna, which would have been a decent controlling hero at range, and they pick up a Medusa as well.
Wow, that's you know, I love this draft from Fdosa. Like, I don't think the Medusa's necessary, in the sense that you've already got everything you need to finish this game relatively quickly. But at the same time, if you want to reduce that pressure you're going to have of having that drought strat, Medusa is pretty potent, right? You go late game, I don't see anyone that's going to be able to kill her. They're not going to be able to burst her down with that much mana. And what?
Huh?
Crystal Maiden. So who?
I'm guessing it's gonna be a safe lane Omni Knight, a mid lane and off lane Darkseer, support Warlock, and Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden fixes their issue of control somewhat. It's not great. I have to say, Crystal Maiden early levels with her Frostbite is really not great, and a lot of players have a tendency to still go for the max aura build, which honestly takes away so much from Crystal Maiden's early game presence. Like, she's really strong if you get leveled into her Q or W, but if you pump it into the aura, you're really not going to do too much yourself. You're going to be helping your team, maybe help Lina a bit, but you're not going to have that much of an early game impact to do that.
Well, we'll get into the game. We'll see what the hell's going to happen. I mean, this Radiant draft is, you know, I cannot agree with it any way whatsoever, apart from the fact that maybe they consider it fun. Let's go through the plays in the drafts. We do have Lixie. He will be on that Omni Knight. Riaz Gremory 420 will be on the Lina. We'll have Vagine on the CM. Warlock will be, well, I believe that's Russian. We're going to say Warlock. And finally, we have, if the damn camera doesn't move, we have, how the hell do you say that? Bajema, the Darkseer. The Darkseer is being played by Darkseer. And John Madar, if you could please.
All right, on the Dire side, we have Nature's Prophet being played by Major Killsteel, a lovely name for Nature's Prophet. We have Cyrax Boy on the Drow Ranger, Medusa being played by Mr. N, Underlord being played by Bene Masaladosa. And we have Napster Cod on the Witch Doctor.
You know, John, you don't have to pronounce all the names correctly.
Well, Mike, unlike you, I have proper speaking ability.
Oh, thank you. Which is why I'm the play-by-play and you're the analyst. Anyway, moving on. Bot lane. Might be a bit of action. Actually, Vagine will find Bene. Bene will just walk off. I mean, there's nothing they can do about this Underlord. He's got 2 mangoes, so the regen's always going to be there. He's got the tangos, the salve, the stout shield. I don't see them killing this Undy. They are going to try and steal his rune, but they won't be successful. In fact, 3 runes go to the way of the Dire already. So you know you've got that quicker start for that Drow lineup, and it's not going to be easy. I mean, they are running a safe lane Omni. I don't agree with this.
It has potential. It's not going to work well against in this lane. The main issue I have right now is this tri-lane of CM, Warlock, and Omni Knight is really weak. It has sustain, but it's, you know, when you face off against the Underlord, an Underlord level 1 to 4 is really not that scary. But when you have supports like this, he's really not going to be feeling too threatened, if at all. So I'm not too sure, because an Underlord's really easy to punish, but these supports just don't do enough to punish an Underlord, I feel.
Not only that, but you look to the off lane of the Radiant right now, and I mean the Darkseer, he's already, you know, 1/4 the HP from dying. Major Killstealer is not going to allow him to actually get in the XP range, and they're just going to keep doing this. They're actually blocking with the Trine as well, and this actually might be a kill. In fact, they stopped blocking, which is a big mistake on their part. Major Killstealer couldn't keep up the micro, but nevertheless, they're doing their job. They're ensuring that the Darkseer does not get in for any XP whatsoever, which means he can't spam Iron Shells properly. And it's going to mean that there's going to be free farm completely to Cyrax, who doesn't really care about Iron Shells.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good top lane here for the Dark side. I feel like it would be even better if our Nature's Prophet didn't go for the Orb of Venom instead went for something like a Blightstone. Ranged Orb of Venom doesn't really do too much. It's not impressive at all, in my opinion, unless you're playing something like a support Veno or a support Silencer with Glaives level 1. It really doesn't do too much, but it is getting the job done. I feel like they could secure a kill if he went for a Blightstone.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It is the extra 15 magic damage you deal, but yeah, it's honestly like pretty underwhelming for a range, so we'll see what he can do with it. He is actually rotating around to the mid lane. Of course, we do understand that the Nature's Prophet does have a very, very slow movement speed, as he should, because he can teleport across the map. He'll have a difficult time running around. But he comes straight back to the top lane. He wants to annoy the Darkseer again. And well, the Darkseer is literally sitting at 1/4 XP. He hasn't hit level 2 and is nowhere near it. And this is exactly what they need to do. Meanwhile, Cyrax is level 3. Is pretty much getting every single last hit he needs to. And there's just nothing that can be done about it.
Yeah, it's not a lane the Darkseer can apply much pressure to. I feel like they'd be better off running blue lanes at this point, because this is really not going to do... They're really not going to get too much from this laning phase.
Well, they do end up getting Bege top, but Bene is also in trouble with the bot lane. I didn't quite catch how the Darkseer died, but I'm assuming it had something to do with a coconut and some right clicks. Bene in a lot of trouble. The Warlock actually dropping quite low, but Bene will go down first. So they do get a 1-for-1 trade. Both offlaners will end up dropping. Mind you, there is still a big difference between the offlaners as it stands. The Darkseer might just drop again. The coconut bouncing the right way. And well, the Darkseer, he puts the Iron Shell on, but I don't think it's going to be enough. A couple more right clicks. They at least cancel the salve. Major thinks about keeping going for it, but he doesn't. But still, you cancel the salve. He has no regen. The shrine isn't even available. Like, what can Darkseer do about this?
All he can do is really ferry himself another salve and try to stay within XP soaking range, but he's not getting level 2 anytime soon. And this is really not the start you want to see in a Darkseer. He has no last hits. He has 2 last hits. He has no XP to speak of. He's not getting anything out of this lane. He's not zoning out the Drow Ranger. He's really just not achieving anything. Compare that to Bene Masaladosa's bot lane. He's forced the support to stay in this lane to make sure the Omni Knight can farm. And he's getting something out of the lane as well. He's level 3. He's wasting the support's mana. The supports can't rotate to mid to pressure the Medusa, because the moment they leave, Omni Knight's going to have a rough time 1-on-1 against an Underlord. So it's really going the way of the Dire right now, even though it doesn't look like it. 1-to-1, less than 1k lead. But this amount of pressure they're putting out on the Dire side, I feel is much more beneficial.
Bene is getting jumped on right now. They might be able to find this kill. The Frostbite is barely available, but the CM, he's going to cop too much damage. He does have a Fairy Fire, though. She will be okay. Napster did come in to help out as well. But things, again, slow down. It's a 1-to-1. This is all in favor of the Dire, though. They want the game to go this slow at this point. I mean, in theory, the Radiant should be jumping all over them, but nothing of the sort is happening. And, well, Mr. N continues to farm well in the mid lane. Drow continues to farm well at the top lane. Everything's going completely according to plan. Your Darkseer has now hit level 2. I get the feeling he probably should just resort to the jungle at this point, but he appears to not be giving up on it. I don't know if I agree with this. I mean, you would have at least gotten a couple levels out of the jungle by this point.
Yeah, definitely. I almost feel like he's wasting his time here. His presence really isn't pressuring the Drow. His presence isn't pressuring the supports, and he's not getting anything out of the lane. So it's a risk that really doesn't give him too much.
And they're going to push the tier 1 tower now. I mean, the Drow haven't hit level 6. No, they haven't even hit level 6 on the Drow yet, but you can commit to this. When you've got this many creeps that were pushed into your tower, I mean, there's no way the tower survives this. The siege creep is also there as well. And Drow just clicks E, which means that the siege creep gets 12 extra damage. That is all the siege damage he gets. That will be a quick tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, mid lane though, they might find Mr. N on the Medusa. A lot of rotations happening. Still not enough damage. The Laguna Blade has been committed for it. But Gremory now might end up dropping, and he will. Can they find the Warlock as well? In fact, they might find the CM, but she does have haste.
I'll take that.
It barely just runs out. The Warlock does end up walking out of there as well. But again, it's still a 2 for 2. The gold change really wasn't significant. Ultimately, it just feels like the game goes on as per normal. Like Dire still remain in the lead.
Yeah, definitely. So I feel like it hurts the Medusa a bit more to die at this point. She is trailing a bit behind, a bit behind Lina, but nothing too bad. Doesn't look like she's going to get decent timing on that Mask of Madness, though. Mr. N on this Medusa. It's not going to be a very good Mask of Madness timing, but at the same time, laning against Lina's not the easiest thing. So,
No. We'll see what he does do. He is going for those phase boots first. I mean, with a team like this, I don't even know if it matters about the farm on the Medusa. Like, she can drag this out so late if she wants. Like, you look to the draft of the Radiant, they don't have any late game to speak of. They might be able to find Bene at the bot lane. Some nice blocks coming out from the CM. Bene does commit the wand. He's still regenning, but Lixie will end up finding him. Now Major Killer Stealer, though. Won't find the Omni. He will find himself a CM. So, staying true to his name. Make sure he comes in the last minute, takes the kill, gets the hell out of there. It's perfectly fine. He even gets himself a couple bounty runes on the way home. And he... to a Warlock. Major. Gonna right click now the Sprout as well. I don't think the Warlock can actually survive this, and a big mistake coming out from him. He will end up going down. This time, Bene steals the kill. And the Giant came in the last second. Won't really matter. Top lane, looks like Darkseer is getting jumped on. He did use the haste, but it doesn't matter as well. He gets slowed up, he gets stunned up, and look at the damage that's being dealt to him right now. Actually, it does matter when Gremory comes in. He will Laguna Blade the Witch Doctor. Now they want to try and get Cyrax Boy, but he's making a run for it. He is slowly being ticked down by that Warlock damage. Is anyone going to help him? The answer is no. He gets stunned up, he gets taken down. And we now sit at a 5-4. 9 minutes into the game. A lot of gold went to the way of the Lina. Actually, speaking of Napster, actually going to find a CM in his jungle. He just has no help to try and take him down. Of course, there's no Death Ward available yet. He's only level 3. Not much he can really do about a CM in his jungle. In fact, for Giant, does get caught out. The Sprout is available as well. He's going absolutely nowhere. It appeared he ate the wrong tree as well to make matters worse. And now he will end up going down, overstaying his welcome for really no reason. He didn't have any wards.
yeah, I'm not sure if those jungle wards are worthwhile. It gives you vision, sure, if someone's farming that jungle, but the T1 top is still up here. You're not going to be invading the Dire side jungle anytime soon.
Well, that's exactly right. You're not going to be in that position to go for a gank anyway. The only person who's probably going to be farming there is the Medusa, which is a hard kill, right next to her shrine, mind you. But, well, they place it anyway. They give up a life for it. Looks like the tier 1 bot will be ending up going down. And with that level 7 now on Cyrax, it's going to make it so easy to get these towers. They might even find themselves a nice cheeky CM to try and take down. He's running through to those bounty runes. In fact, she's running through to the mid lane now. They might have a go at Mr. N. That Mystic Snake does so much damage. Meanwhile, it does look like the Giant has been caught out by Cyrax, although that level 1 arrow, or the frost arrows, aren't really going to slow it down long enough to really commit to a kill. You generally want level 2, I feel, on the Drow Ranger before you can start killing people off solo. Well, he will have it soon, but I think it would have really helped to have that one more level in the frost arrows.
Yeah, definitely would have.
Major. Gonna get caught out. The Nature's Prophet will end up going down. Mind you, that is a position for Nature's Prophet. He won't really care. It's still not a good idea to give kills away like that, though, but does end up happening. The hell can you do?
I think it's fine. Like, he dies, Radiant wastes the smoke, and for some reason Mr. N dies to the Ancients.
Yeah, he does, apparently. Actually, speaking of dying, Napster in a lot of trouble. There's the Coconut. Actually, he might find Gremory now. They will get a nice return kill for themselves. Big A is there as well on the dark side, trying to get Major. Won't really be able to do so. He will back off, because Ben A is here on the Underlord. Well, Warlock?
Top tower is under attack.
Level 5 Warlock running behind everyone. John?
I'm not sure what to say.
Oh, good.
I guess that's a very Russian thing to do, you know? You want to go back, you want to just find a kill. You're still level 5 in the Warlock, unfortunately, so you really can't do too much. But the drive is there, the spirit is willing, the body is not.
No, it wasn't. Tier 1 tower also being attacked right now, and Cyrax. But that Dragonlance up now, and it makes it that much easier to go for these towers. Looks like Mr. N finally has the gold he needs for his Mask of Madness. He just needs the courier to bring it in. And this tier 1 tower, it's just going to be so simple. Like, there's nothing they can do about it. They don't have the levels, they don't have the gold to really deal with this. Their Omni is still farming at the bot lane, so Lixie is committed to playing a carry Omni Knight, but this is kind of the Omni Knight's peak, it feels like. Once you hit around level 10, you've got the max degen aura and the max purification. Like, you need to make something happen on this Omni.
Yeah, definitely so, I agree with you, but it's just not happening so far.
Well, they will
His
find
farm
Witch
is-
Doctor. Napster does get caught out, so he will find himself a kill, but I would argue you got lucky with that kill.
Yeah, definitely, and it doesn't give you too much. 202 gold, not much XP, and you kill a Witch Doctor who already has his urn, so not the biggest win. At the very least, you delay Witch Doctor's level 6. He's not even close to it just yet. Just about hit level 5.
Point the Death Ward will be delayed even longer. I mean, 14 minutes in, he's only level 4. That is a big deal, I suppose, for the position 5 Witch Doctor. That is very, very late on levels, but he's had a rough time. They will find Cyrax Boy in the jungle, though. The Golem is dropped for this. They should be able to burst him down, and they do with the Laguna Blade. So that's a nice pickup for the side of the Radiant, at the least. Problem is now your Golem's gone, and unless they're planning to get a tower with it, I don't know how worthwhile that was.
Looks like they will try to transition to the mid. I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough. It's going to expire in half a minute. Could be enough to drop down the tower to half HP, but to take it out, I don't think so.
Well, they will find another nice kill onto Major Kill Stealer. So they are making some things happen. Nobody's really hitting the tower, though. They'll start now, and this will help out quite a lot. And it looks like they will be able to find themselves a tier 1, maybe. Although the thing is, people are coming in to try and defend this. It's been a very, very slow siege. At 15 minutes in for this tier 1, I mean, it's pathetically slow, to be honest. They will come in and defend, and in fact, they don't even have to right-click anybody. The tower is at half HP, which is what you said.
Yeah, it's really not a fast push coming out from the Radiant side. None of the heroes really deal with the tower as well, except for the Lina. Except Lina's not quite farmed up enough to be a significant tower hitter.
John, what kind of replay cast would it be if we didn't have some pauses going on?
Oh, absolutely, Mike. Absolutely.
God forbid we get a smooth game. There's the disconnect I was about to say. Nobody's disconnected yet. There it is. I mean, overall, looking at this game, it's just... It seems like such an outdraft right now. Like, what do you even do if you're the Radiant? Like, you can't go late against a Medusa. Not with an Omni Knight. You couldn't really defeat them early either. Maybe in the mid game you have the stronger presence, but even then I'm not sure, because that's when the Drow strats generally peak, in the mid game.
Yeah, it's really tough. Honestly, not sure how to repair this start. It's just that their heroes don't do much. You have an Omni Knight carry going up against a Drow. He's not going to be able to approach Drow and close that gap. you have Alina, who got Yule's first going for the Shadow Blade. Sure, can pick off someone, but Alina's very single target kind of damage. And even then, it can't burst through something like the Medusa. It's going to be a hard time for the Radiant side. They have the lead in kills, but they haven't taken any towers. They're behind, by 3 towers, so it's going to be hard for them to catch up in gold.
See what they do. There is a smoke coming out from the side of the Dire. A bit cheeky as well. It came straight after the pause. So you wouldn't really expect this to be happening, but a Roshan is being taken very, very quickly at that. Of course, Major Killstealer does have a Blightstone, so it makes it that much easier to take the Roshan. There's nothing they can do about this. They don't even know it's happening. Roshan's now gone. 16 minutes in. I honestly can't see why the Dire wouldn't just start pushing tier 2s at this point. And it looks like they are going to. They just, why the hell not? We got the Aegis. We got all the abilities we need. We got the levels, the gold. Everyone's healthy. Mid tower is going to be the target. And just look how fast they take it. It's just a drone and Medusa hitting it. Now with the creeps there. Oh, they do jump in, but I don't know what this Omni's doing. Lixie does end up going down. A very questionable play at that as well. The tier 2 is gone. They might even go for a tier 3, to be honest with you, John. I mean, the carry Omni's gone now. And everyone is still very healthy. They only expended a death ward at that.
Yeah, there's no reason to pull back right now, I feel. Yeah, they can definitely go for more. And I feel like they should. They have the Aegis up in Medusa. They have the early presence. Their power peak is rising up. It's definitely time for them to go in.
Well, they are doing so. Gremory trying to get a stun off is unsuccessful. The Underlord in the middle of all this. It looks like he will get bursted down. In fact, no, he won't. He'll get healed up just in the middle of all of it. The urn is there as well. Now the golem has been dropped onto 3, but where's the follow-up? It's not really there yet. And now the rest of the Dire looks like they'll just back off safely. In fact, no, they won't. They'll go back in. Cyrax wants to go for a fight here. They're going after Gremory. They haven't killed anyone on either team yet. There's the kills. There's the stun. Laguna Blade, is it available? No, it's not. Now the Omni ulti comes in. The Guardian Angel, Mr. N, is in a lot of trouble. He hasn't used the Stone Gaze, though. It's like, God damn it, sir. Use the Stone Gaze. They don't even need it. Gregory goes down. Now they get the Warlock as well. CM's gone. They're going in one by one. Lixie, he just respawned. He doesn't want to die again. The tier 3 is now under siege. They do have the backdoor protection. Everyone is relatively low on the side of the Dire, but the good thing is they have a Witch Doctor that'll heal them up with the urn and the ability as well. And I mean, these racks, they're just not going to survive like this. Nobody wants to buy back. And even if they did, I don't think they can defend.
Yeah, definitely. They don't have the Golem up on Warlock. And we talked about it in the draft, Mike. When you don't have that Golem, your impact is very minimal.
Oh, you can't do anything. Witch Doctor, I mean, Vagine goes down, I should say. They do also almost get the Omni. I mean, the Lean is the only one that can really deal out some AoE damage, but even then, it's, underwhelming to say the least. Looks like Warlock might just drop here to the Dusa. In fact, he does. Mr. N just standing there right-clicking people. He still has the Aegis. There's nothing to be afraid of. He still has the Stone Gaze as well. Now they're going to get the Darkseer as well. This poor man's had a terrible game. He's still level 9 on an offlane Darkseer. And if we're to compare, there's a level 12 Underlord on the map. And now the tier 4s are under siege. Not something you see every day.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you see every day, but this is a smart play. They know that there's no way they can defend this. And so they would just keep going, try to end the game early before any sort of momentum can swing back to the Radiant side.
Well, they do end up losing Bene, and that might force them to back off. Looks like it will. I mean, the Aegis is still available, but Mr. N, he has no mana left either. And it's like, why waste the Aegis if you don't need to? And he won't do so. They'll back off. Unfortunately, for the side of the Dire, there was no tier 2s available. I should say there's too many tier 2s available. There's 2 on the map right now, which did mean they couldn't go for a secondary Rax. But I have a weird feeling they're not even going to go for a secondary Rax. I have a weird feeling they're just going to go straight back into that mid lane.
Yeah, I think that's a viable option here. They aren't under any pressure to really secure mega creeps, because I don't think there's any way for the Radiant to really come back. Like if if they end it now, it's a safer play than extending the game
Yeah.
because they're so far ahead that if they end it now, it's a guaranteed win. Whereas if you extend it, you could lose your lead. You might face some trouble. It's still not too bad though for the lineups, but it has more of a risk factor than just ending while you're strong.
Well, Mr. N, he did find himself a double damage rune, so looks like they will run to the bot lane instead. Maybe try to get themselves a tier 2, up the economy of the team just a bit.
Is under attack.
They are going for the shrines as well to ensure there's no one coming in from the back lines to take them out. Smart little play from them. Generally speaking, you don't usually have to take out a shrine before you take a tier 2, but in this game they do manage to do so, and now with that tier 2 down, they're just going to go straight for the tier 3. The Aegis does expire, but it does mean Mr. N gets all his mana and health back. And in fact, everyone else is relatively healthy as well. Warlock is available, so he can drop the golem, but he might just die before the whole team fight starts, and he does! It's too easy for the side of the Dire, it looks like, and there's no contention.
Yeah, there's no way to stop it. For some reason, they left the defense to just the Warlock, and they're trying to trade for a T1 up top.
Radiant's bottom barracks are
That is definitely not a good trade, I believe, John. I mean, you can confirm it for me if you like, but I believe trading a tier 3 in Rax is not worth a tier 1. Looks like Gremory will be there to try and do something, but the question is what? The Golem is finally dropped onto all 5 actually, but it's going to be nothing. But look at the 3-man stun coming out from the Lina. Now the CM ulti as well. Actually, that was pretty damn well played, and everyone goes down apart from Mr. N. Wow. That was surprising.
Yeah, it definitely was. I actually feel like Mr. N could just stay and keep fighting, honestly, at this point. But opts to back out instead, although I really feel like he could probably man-fight the Darkseer and the Omni Knight at this point.
Yeah.
But they make the choice, they back off, they waste the Warlock Golem again, and they do get pretty much cleaned up though. That was, to be fair, that's a really good drop by the Warlock, and a really nice Fatal Bonds as well. That really guaranteed them the kills. I believe that was either a 4-man or a 5-man. 4-man or a 5-man Fatal Bond, so that's a lot of damage being amped up by the Lina's AoE spells.
Yeah, a 5-man Golem drop into a 5-man Fatal Bonds into a 3-man Light Strike Array. I mean, everyone just melted. Then the CM came in last minute, threw out the ulti, the freezing field. It was all too much to deal with. They are actually going to find the Drow as well. Cyrax is forced to use his BKB. In fact, that was a 10-second BKB he used against Gremory. So again, another little win for the side of the Radiant. Can they hold out this final Rax though? I mean, we're 23.5 minutes in, and they've already lost 2 of their Raxes. They're going to lose their final tier 2 now.
Radiant's top tower.
And it's like you said, even if everyone else goes down, Mr. N is still there. He's just picked up his Eye of Skadi as well. He's a very hard kill to get.
Radiant's top tower.
The Omni Knight isn't even in the base right now. He's just pushing the bot lane. Does he even have a TP? Yes, he does. But he probably needs to join the team very soon. Tier 3 tower. Nice back wall is onto 3. No follow-up, unfortunately. And again, this Darkseer might just drop the freezing field. The Death Ward is out of there. The Stone Gaze has finally been used. I believe that may be the first time this whole game. They will be able to get Gremory, though. It looks like no, they won't. But everyone on the side of the die is still alive. Mr. N suddenly finds a secondary kill in Vagina, and he'll find a third. In fact, he might find a fourth if he wants to really go under that fountain. Nice Light Strike Array onto 4 players. Coming in from the backlines of Gremory now. The Pit of Malice, though, holding him in place, and Mr. N, he'll find himself a triple kill. And I think this is it, John. The final Rax of the game. I can't imagine that the Radiant won't just call GG here. They can't defend this any longer.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. They've expended the wall, the Golem's not coming. Well, the Golem's gonna be up in a second. Freezing Field's down. They do have Guardian Angel, but they don't really have the damage outside of Lina with a very good Fatal Bonds to really follow up on it.
They will drop the Golem onto Mr. N in the middle of all this, trying to fight as best he can. They will commit the ulti from the Underlord. The Vac is there, but there's no wall available.
No.
They get low, but I mean, it felt like it was going to be a team wipe on the Dire for a moment, but they just didn't have any damage.
I think I think the vacuum actually plays against you when you're playing against the Underlord, because you group everyone up to be teleported home. It's probably the best anti-synergy you could find,
That's actually a very good point. I
along
didn't think about that.
along with a Magnus RP. Like if you time your Dark Rift proper, the Magnus RP will probably save your team more than it will cost you.
That's why we love Underlord.
Oh, definitely. It really is one of my favorite heroes on the Lord. I mean, I have there's the tap out.
Yeah, they've
But-
called GG. Does it matter though? I mean, it is Battle Cup. That should be it. Yeah, it is. They've had enough, John. Team F Dosa will be the victors by I mean, it was a very convincing win. It was complete outdraft. It was complete outplay. There was... Once you saw the draft, there was really no question as to who was going to win. Like, really none.
Yeah, definitely. The CM last pick was really questionable at best.
Yeah, it was very strange, to say the least. But that'll be the third game of the day. We should get into our fourth one, John. But
Yes, we should, Mr. Mike.
as per usual, go on our quick break. Might even try to grab something to eat if I can within the 5 minutes. But we'll be back for the fourth game. I mean, there's so many games to cast, John. There's so many games. You look at this list and you look at this list and you're like, I really shouldn't stop casting. Because
Yeah.
otherwise it's never going to get done.
Massive. Yeah, but well, we have our human needs, Mike. Yeah, lunch does sound like a fabulous idea, but we'll see if we can pull that off.
All right, well, we'll be right back. This stream will stop and restart. Won't be long, guys. We'll be back with you in just a moment.